The following podcast contains some mild swearing and descriptions of sexual situations. Viewer discretion is advised.
Spoiler alert. Third World Cinema Club.
Okay, we're back, and we're gonna talk about the special feature section of the PPP. We're not gonna talk about all of the special features, but each one of us will be talking about one particular film in the special features that we saw and liked, I guess, and the rest of us are going to be talking about it if we saw it. So I guess I'll start with me. I saw Kiko Boxingero. It's 2017 Cinemalaya film. It's about this boy Kiko who lives alone after the death of his mom. He lives with his yaya, played by Yayo Aguila, and he's looking for a parent that's no longer there. And one day he comes across his estranged father, who is a boxer, and the kid quickly becomes attached to the dad in the hope that the dad will take him in, and he would be a father again. So Kiko Boxing it's by Thop Nazarian. It's a very simple film. It's para siyang slice of life ng batang ito, and it's not about boxing at all. Although boxing is in this film, it's more about who really loves us as people. Parang who are the people that really love us. Ganon. And in its last few minutes, this simple story it has a very emotionally heavy moment na talagang in the cinema. Nung pinanood ko to nung Cinemalaya, naiyak talaga ako. As in, kahit na nakalabas na ako, umiyak pa rin ako. Kasi ganong kalakas yung impact nung characters with me. Ganong kalakas yung resonance ng characters. And all of the cast, all of the people involved are amazing. Noel Comilla Jr., excellent actor. He won Best Actor in last year's Cinemalaya, if I'm not mistaken. And Yayo Aguila also. One of my favorite performances of her in contemporary cinema. It's a very short film. It's 76 minutes long, but yeah, it's a very short film. But I would recommend. This is one of two films from Cinemalaya that I would wholeheartedly recommend to anyone.
In your last year, no?
From last year, this and Respeto. Do you have any additional thoughts about Kiko Boxingero? No? Jim, DJ? No. Okay, let's move on to Jim. Jim, what did you see? What do you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh. Kasi sa Q-Cinema ko napanood eh.
Okay.
Yung Balanggiga.
Okay lang. So, Balanggiga Howling Wilderness. So, what's it about?
Yung natatandaan ko na lang i-discuss ko.
Sure.
Kasi hindi ko na maano yung blog ko. It's about Filipino-American War.
Yes, it takes place during that war.
And then there's a young boy, diba? I forgot the name, I'm sorry.
This Kulas?
Kulas, yeah. Si Kulas. Played by Justin Samson.
Justin Samson, yeah.
And yung lolo niya, Pio Del Rio, I forgot the...
Apoy is his name. Apoy.
So, they're trying to survive the Filipino-American War.
Yes.
Diba?
In particular, the aftermath of the Balanggiga massacre.
Yeah.
And they're trying to reach their relatives in... I forgot the name of the place, pero they're trying to escape. And along the way, they come across a devastated town, and they find this kid, which Kulas names Bola.
Yeah.
And Bola, Kulas mistakes him for a demon child.
Yeah.
Tiyanak and Peg. So they walk. They travel together towards this place where Kulas thinks his mother lives.
Yeah.
His mother, by the way, is played by Althea Vega. Right?
Yeah. Metro Manila.
So Jim, what did you think of Balanggiga?
With Balanggiga, Kasi it's my first film yun yung first film na napanood ko kay Kevin.
Yeah.
Na parang I believe it's accessible. Kasi,
Yes.
diba?
Na except for paglilitis.
Paglilitis.
Kay Mang Serapio.
Hindi ko pa napanood kasi yun. So, syempre, when naririnig ko, di ba, Kevin de la Cruz kasi weird yung mga style.
This
diba?
is a very, very strange film.
Strange film. Pero ako, I appreciate the film kasi technically speaking, the editing, nagagalingan ako sa editing, even the cinematography.
Cinematography is by Albert Banzon. No?
Kaya pala, Albert Banzon kasi. May mga lang din ako with the film kasi di ba there's a scene na may nag-masturbate, di ba?
Yes.
Ayan, the film.
Si Roxley ito, di ba? Si Roxley.
So I find it parang, at first, hindi ko siya maintindihan why it was inserted in the film. Ganun, parang, does it make sense nung pinapanood ko? Pero, as time goes by naman nung pinapanood ko, okay naman. Mayroon naman siyang connection. And then, another thing na medyo parang na weirdohan din ako yung the bestiality scene.
Near the end.
Near the end. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
Pero nagandahan talaga ako with Balanggiga.
Paul, you have any thoughts about Balangid? Have you seen this film?
I guess it's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not
Meron talagang hindi nila maintindihan. Because siguro nga hindi pa rin siya ganun ka-accessible. Although, ito ni pinaka-linear na...
This is the most linear Kevin.
Oo. Although, nung napanood ko kasi ito last year sa Q Cinema, meron sa labas ng sinihan na matandang nagwawala. Tapos, senior citizen ito at hindi siya maka-access.
Ito ba yung sa Gateway?
Sa Gateway. Oo, nandun yata tayo pareho. Nagwawala siya sa labas ng sinihan. And siguro nga, para sa kanila, hindi ganito ang history. Because it's supposed to be historical. Tapos yung part pa nung, ang isang contention ata dito ay yung bells. Na parang, ito dapat yung isa sa mga sentro nung historical part ng pelikula. Pero hindi siya masyadong...
It doesn't talk about the bells.
Yes, it doesn't talk about it. May isang part lang doon na
parang dream sequence.
Dream sequence na naglalakad yung...
And there's one, meron ba ng Q-Cinema version na may interlude? Yung may naglalakad na bells?
Meron doon.
Hindi, ewan ko lang kung nandun siya sa PPP.
Nandun siya sa PPP
Nandun
version.
siya. Okay.
So, I've seen both versions of the film. Yung Q-Cinema version, I don't know what exactly yung difference niya with the PPP version. Pero yung Q-Cinema version, first viewing ko, I like the film pero I had my reservations. Medyo rough yung ng film. Hindi siya, may parts na hindi ko masyadong medyo nag-drag siya for me. Medyo inantok ako in some parts. When I talk with the after viewing the film, I talked with the producer of this film, si Chin Villamor. And she explained some of yung mga BTS na nangyari na what they did, paano yung especially mga animal scenes, paano change yung animals. May scene doon na may isang patay na kalabaw. Hindi talaga pinatay yung kalabaw, parang naghanap sila ng patay na kalabaw. And
ang nakaka-amaze kasi dito is yung pag-direct nila dun sa mga bata. Kasi it's
definitely.
Not easy.
Mahirap.
It's a hard film.
It's a hard
difficult film
to direct. Exactly. On second viewing sa PPP, mas na-appreciate ko siya. Yung sequences ni Roxley na masturbate, yung may bestiality-ish, yung dina-dry hump niya yung cow. Para silang surreal na interludes. Para siyang interludes eh.
Actually, yung film, surreal siya.
Yes, the film as a whole is surreal. Pero yung linear plot niya, it's broken up by these parang vignettes. Meron ding isang scene yung si Lord De Vera, parang baliw siya na nagsa-strum ng guitar. Parang it has no connect with the rest of the film. Parang interlude lang siya. Parang, I guess, ito yung signifier niya, time has passed, or pero tayong change of scenery. Parang ganun. Pero syempre, it's a very weird na pang-change ng scenery. Otherwise, the acting is excellent.
Yes.
Magaling si Justin Samson. He deserved that win yung sa
May bet
Q-Cinema.
ng gawad ulian, pero...
Sayang. Galing ng bata.
Magaling bata.
Si Bola, alam mo yung batang ganung kaedad, iyakin, di ba? Buti nakakahanap sila ng tahimik na bata.
Actually, yun yung sinabi ni Kevin nung premiere na nag-casting sila for Baby. Kung sino daw yung pinaka hindi iyakin, yun na yun.
Yun na yun.
Pero talaga nagalingan ako doon sa mga bata kasi hindi ganun kadaling mag-direct ng bata eh.
Yeah, and Balangiga, parang, although yun nga, it's yung backdrop just the Filipino-American War. Parang yun nga, this is not a film about, this is not a historical film, kumbaga.
It's not a film,
It's not a film, right?
This is not a film, Gavin. Hindi siya, it's not trying to tell exactly the story of Balangiga. It doesn't tell the story of the massacre. It doesn't tell the story of the American retaliation and yung pagtangay ng bells. It uses the backdrop of Balangiga to tell a bigger story about the Filipino people.
Actually, pinapanood ko siya somewhat. Yung feels niya parang yung movie na Come and See. It's a Russian film.
Oh, okay.
Kasi yung di ba din discuss sa film yung Horrors of War.
Yes. May pagkaano siya eh. Parang sabog na Grave of the Fireflies. Ganun ang peg ko sa kanya eh. And
it tells a bigger story, pero at the same time a smaller story.
That's true.
It's very intimate.
Yes. It's about a kid and his kid. A kid and his kid. Yun eh. It can work in different levels eh. Kasi Kulas, if you notice, yung suot niya, blue, red. Parang colors ng Philippine flag. Parang Kulas, I think someone made a parallel with Kulas and another Kulas in...
ganito kami noon. Paano?
Yes. Parang Kulas in ganito kami noon, he represents the Filipino people. Kulas in Balangiga, he also represents the Filipino people. Na tipong, even though inaalipusta tayo ng foreign powers, in this case represented by the foreign soldier, yung American soldier, we still persevere. Parang tuloy pa tayo kahit na anong masaklap na bagay na nangyayari sa akin. And yun yung na-appreciate ko during my second viewing of the film. And I think it's a wonderful statement to make. Kahit na yun nga, napaka-weird ng pelikula. It's not for everyone.
It's a strange film talaga. Saka nakakatuwa yung burning village. Parang
that scene is amazing eh, actually.
Oro Plata Mata.
May vibes na gano'n, di ba?
Very Love Diaz. Yung dating na.
May nasusunog na
Susunog na village.
Susunog na nipahat.
Sunugan ng peg, gano'n. Sa musmus din, gano'n eh. Yun. DJ, you have any more additional thoughts?
I think cover naman most of. Ang unforgettable scene lang sa akin for Balangiga, yung confrontation scene with the soldier.
Yes.
Na yun yung part na actually non-linear kasi pinakita siya...
May parang premonition.
Tapos nag-build up, tapos yun pala yun.
Can you consider the film na parang esoteric?
Not exactly. Parang yun nga, as you said, this is one of Cavin's most accessible films.
Sa lagay na yan.
Sa lagay na yan.
ang isa pa nga niyang peg for this film, para siyang children's film that can only be made by Kavin, di ba? Parang
coming of age, actually.
Coming of age eh. Parang yung original na niya nung, di ba may controversy to nung Q Cinema na gusto niya parang PG yung rating ng film pero ginawa R13. Gusto niya mapanood to ng mga bata. For some reason. I don't know, your mileage may vary kung gusto mong papanoorin. Pero yun nga, I guess yun yung peg niya while making the film. He also tried to make it accessible. And one more thing pala about yung PPP version na napanood ko. After the credits, may scene kasi na October 2017, work in progress, di ba?
Okay.
Ganun din sa PPP version. So, hindi ko alam kung hindi lang nila pinalitan yung credits or feel ko tinamad lang sila. Kasi I feel it's a different film naman eh. So, pero yun nga. I don't know if we'll ever get to see the completed version of this movie. I think although this is a refined version of Balangiga, I don't think this will be the last or this is the true vision na gustong makita ng director. So, I guess DJ, let's go on to what film from the special features do you want to talk about?
Gusto kita with all my hypothalamus.
Yes, and what's it about?
It's about 4 men from different stages of life who live and work around the Quiapo Avenida Recto area of Manila. Okay. And it's most of it is about their separate stories, but they're connected by their common admiration for a woman named Eileen.
Okay.
So
DJ, what did you think about this film?
This is this remains one of my favorite films of 2018.
Yes.
Up there with Distance siguro, Cinemalaya.
Interesting.
Napanood ng list.
Very interesting siya kasi may self-realizations ka while watching it. Hindi man self-realization, pero it's the film na after watching it, wow, ang ganda. Pero bakit tingin ko maganda siya? And that's how I came up with my own interpretation of what it means.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, BJ has a write-up on hypothalamus at reversedelay.net. This is my favorite take on hypothalamus sa lahat ng nabasa ko.
And ipagyayabang ko na siguro, pero it comes para lang mas may credibility kasi nakita nung director yung write-up ko na yun. And sabi niya, kuha ko daw yung
gusto niya
yung intention niya
that's
for
nice.
the film. And well, with that backup na I can say confidently na this film is about male gaze and
Yes.
objectification.
Definitely.
Kasi yun nga, napaisip din ako parang so ano bang maganda tungkol dun sa pelikula na yun? Kasi even the cinema evaluation board sabi nila
Gave it
parang
no
it's about
rating.
depravity and kung ano namang
like, ano ba,
male
naibigan?
toxicity.
Maybe it's a male thing.
Maybe it's a male thing. Pero yun nga so hindi ba tungkol doon talaga yung pelikula na
Yeah.
if you liked it, parang
if that's the
mapapaisip
point,
ka mismo ikaw. So bakit man nagustuhan yun? What are you talking about? Yan.
Yun.
It's very reflexive
Paul?
Oo. Siguro, ang isa ata sa mga issue ng CEB is yung lustful na dahil nga male gaze niya. Ito, maybe, nakita nila na this is just one woman, tapos apat ang parang nilalapitan niya all at the same time. Baka ganun kasi yung iniisip, pero yun yung parang trigger na sa pelikula. Ba't biglang ganun?
Diba?
Ano meron? That's yung sinasabi nga ng DJ na male gaze. Ito ay apat na lalaki from different stages in their lives. Kaya hindi ko siya maisulat kasi hindi ko lang paano siya titingnan.
Ako personally, ang interpretation ko is externalization si Eileen ng desires ng forming characters. Parang she represents a concept. What that concept is depends on which character is. Kasi she brings something different to the table per person. And additional, pwede mo pang dagdagan ng layers yan. Yung yung kay DJ, he compared it to Eileen is like yung Manila itself, the city. So,
Para siyang muse.
yeah, it's the muse of these four. She inspires them And it matches with the film's very lush cinematography. Parang sobrang pinaganda niya yung Quiapo.
Ganda.
Yun yung other thing about this film parang this is the romanticization of Manila that the city deserves
Yes.
Yung turning, yung sabi nga ni sino ba yan? Si Joyce Bernal yata. Yung alikabok ng Manila. Damandama mo
Damandama mo talaga. And yun nga, this is a film that that lingers with you. Parang when I first saw it at Cine Filipino, I thought, yeah, this is a good film. Probably one top 3 ganun. Pero as I thought about it more, parang shit, parang it's so much more than I initially thought it was. Parang ganun.
Yung akala mo well, parang before parang isipin mo quirky comedy romance lang siya.
But no, it's something more profound
Kaya siguro importante yung eksena na laging mauuna yung kay Nico Manalo.
Yes.
Kasi yun yung pinaka infatuation. Mas palalim siya ng palalim. And it also helps na yung apat na male actors were so very convincing sa pinoportray nila. Lalo na yung sa part ng kay sino yung magnanakaw?
Anthony Falcon.
Si Anthony Falcon.
Wow, wala siya speaking lines.
Yeah, silent on movie. Nakaw-nakaw lang siya.
Nakaw tingin, nakaw ng kung ano man sa...
Kung ano na ninanakaw.
Nagsimula sa tingin.
Nagsimula sa tingin. Physical na yung pagnakaw niya.
Nice way to put it.
Any more thoughts on Gusto Kita with All My Hypothalamus?
Yung first scene pa lang ng Hypothalamus, parang encapsulation siya ng entire film na sobrang nasa pedestal si Iana Bernardes.
Yes.
Na yung literal male gaze siya eh. Parang kung lalaki.
Tinagaw niya yung attention natin doon sa opening na nun.
Parang she's in this.
Yun yung isang parang pleasures of the film na parang vicarious pleasure siya. Yung kung paano siya tinitingnan ng mga characters, ganun din yung tingin mo sa kanya. Kaya dapat napapaisip ka pag pinanood mo yung pelikula, hindi yung sasabihin mo lang na it's about depravity. Ganun.
Parang nakakatulong din na nag-iiba yung personality ni Iana sa apat. Lalo na sa Soliman Cruz na part.
Kay Soliman Cruz.
Iba yung postura niya na
oh yeah.
Okay, so kahit ako, sige. Kahit nandun ako sa infatuation lang, dadalhin mo ako dito sa
tas doon sa yung youngest parang patwitam siya din, di ba?
Oo, di ba?
So,
naging bro siya.
Naging bro siya. Yana Bernardes, no? Yana Bernardes. Sana mag-guest ka sa amin. Joke. Actress to look out for. Tas, talagang anong-ano siya ni Angel Aquino. Talagang, parang nakuha niya yung ng nanay niya. Yung, ano ba? Charm, allure, ganun. I don't know how to say it.
Pati yung talent.
Ayan. Apat tayo dito, baka mahipotalamus na tayo.
Ang hirap. Diba parang mapapaisip ka talaga eh. Parang mapapakaution ka pag pinag-uusapan mo yung pelikula.
Oo nga eh. Kasi
that's another good thing about it.
Yeah.
Conscious ka.
Yun. May parang yun.
Paano naman ka talaga yan sa pag pinalabas sa Embassy ni Centenario?
Meron dyan ngayon actually.
Meron dyan.
Okay, Paul, ikaw na siguro yung last. What do you want to talk about?
Supposedly, dapat
Tupog yung mapel.
Pero, accessible siya.
Yes.
Pero pag-usapan ko na lang isang pelikula pa, yung Paki.
Paki. Okay, Paki.
It's all about two old couples with their family of their own. Tapos may mga apo na rin sila. Sila ay, I guess, taga Ilocos. Tama ba ako?
I think...
parang dun siya galing eh. Based on the bus ride na pinagbabaan niya doon sa isang part ng pelikula.
Yeah.
And it's about kung paano mananatili or magfa-fall out of love na yung isang matured woman sa kanyang asawa who is a mahilig mambabae.
How to stay in love.
Oo. Kasi sabi nga nung isang anak nila si Yuli Valdez doon na ngayon ka pa nag-decide na makapaghiwalay after how many years, decades. Tapos ang ganda niyang panoorin. Visually, napaka stunning nung ginawa na cinematographer with the help of the production design. Saka siguro pati yung locations na rin nila.
Saka meron silang focus on colors eh, yung orange and blue.
Yeah, very parang very soft
na
parang this
may melancholy siya na
yes,
may kinalaman sa sunset because
pero may fixation on orange and blue.
Diba? Pati yung damit, so lahat na may kinalaman dun. So
yung Paki, before I watched Paki, I also managed to watch a Japanese film by Yuji Yamada. It's titled What a Wonderful Family. It also dealt with a woman as the matriarch of a large extended family who wanted to divorce from her husband. So parang very similar yung structure nito Paki. And I think both films in the way na dinadissect nila yung relationships ng characters. Napansin ko si Giancarlo Abraham, parang mahilig siyang i-explore yung relationships ng characters to each other with his first film Daguitab and this one.
At parehong about couples.
And about couples and
mature couples.
Mature, not just young couples, mature couples. Yeah, exactly. And this is Paki is one of my favorite films of last year. Personally kasi mababaw ang luha ko pag may matanda sa pelikula kasi naiiyak talaga ako. Yung may part doon si Dexter Doria. She's a woman who's been part of this family for so long.
Yes.
And she just wants independence as a woman on her own. Kasi tumatanda na siya eh. She's not getting any younger. And there's one scene where Dexter Doria finally gains that independence. Na umiinom siya in a bar, nag-iisa siya. Pero umiiyak siya. Kasi this newfound freedom is not all that parang
it's not free.
It's not free eh. Parang you've made so many connections,
so many costs. So the freedom is not free.
Parang you've Ang dami mo ano. Parang ang dami niyang sinakripisyo nga, tama. In the course of getting this freedom na parang is it worth it? Yun din.
Napaka-alienating kasi
Yes.
yun yung payment or cost nga nung para makuha niya yun. Na
Yes.
kailangan niya itakwil ito.
May someone na nagsulat about Paki. I'm not sure kung si Ogs Cruz yun. He wrote, parang may kinonect siya sa unang scene. Kasi may cataracts yung character ni Dexter Gloria, di ba? Parang kinonect niya yun with her yung parang desire to see, parang tumiwalag sa pamilya niya. Parang ganun eh.
Finally, nakita na niya clearly.
Yes. If you want to, kasi it's a medical decision na feel ko finorce sa kanya ng family niya or gusto niya talagang pagawa na hindi niya magawa kasi nga may external pressures siya na ayaw na, siguro puno na siya dun sa external pressures na yun kaya siya gustong tumuwala. If you can find it, I think it's Ogs Cruz review at Rappler. Take a look.
Ako, two things. One is, well, in addition to all those things you've mentioned na ang ganda nga siya on many levels. Pero my favorite part about Paki is maybe the tone. Ang hirap i-describe pero sobrang unique nung tone eh.
Yes.
And there's an interesting sequence around the middle of the film. I remember the actress's name si Thea Erastorza, yung maid yata siya. Pero yung nung pumunta sila ng grocery, tapos biglang nawala si Dexter Doret. Basta parang tuwan-tuwa ako dun sa scene na yun for some reason. Parang comic siya, but at the same time, it also conveys yung pagiging newfound responsibility nitong si Dexter.
For me, it's a very mellow film. Parang chill siya na may konting bigat siya, pero it's relatively as mellow as the colors that make up its production design.
The other thing, hindi ko pa siya na-proseso actually, pero na-realize ko lang much later after watching the film, na yung title pa niya is Paki, tapos may translation siya na Please Care. Na-realize ko na hindi siya phrase na Please Care. May dot kasi dun sa gitna, I'm not sure kung ano yung typographical term for it. Pero please or care yun eh. Yun yung two translations of Paki kasi.
Yung please kaya is parang in the context na sige na or please na to please someone.
Tapos iba pa yun dun sa Paki na may Paki ka ba?
May Paki ka.
Do you care?
Parang, parang pakigawa naman ito versus yun nga, meron ka bang Paki?
So I'm thinking na along those lines na contemplation yung entire film on those more complicated senses of the word Paki when you translate it.
Interesting.
Kasi si Abraham is Makata to eh.
Poet siya. Kaya napaka-important din pala no epigraph sa simula.
Yes.
Yung edit tempo na anong tula ito? Bonsai.
Oh, yeah.
Something love is something that's small and can be pwede mong iabot ng ganung kadali lang. Kaya parang yung pagiging mellow niya, yung pagkakaroon ng kaunting pake do sa matriarch ng family is very important na kalit na bagay hindi mo maibigay do sa nanay or do sa asawa nung nangangaliwang matandang asawa na. So, very siya.
Dami ko na dapat i-catch up.
Nagkapahaji niya. Ganda.
Changing partners ang napalang.
Okay, so I guess that wraps up our very, very long coverage. Siguro mga 2 oras na tayo. Anything you'd like to say before we leave? Any projects? Anything any project? Ganun.
But that's Laura.
I'm in my joke. Anything you're working on that you'd like to tell us, or anything you'd like to promote, or anything you've watched recently?
Wala pa akong bago napapanood since yung nag-iisa na ko sa PPP.
Okay. So
hinihintay ko ngayon syempre habulin ko ang Miss Granny.
Yes.
And September 5 ba ang
Goyo, yeah. Goyo. Exactly.
So I think yun ang isa sa mga uupuan natin ulit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Jim, may promote mo show mo, ganun.
Parang wag naman.
Sige lang.
The opinions of
Third World Club.
Ano ba? Yun, please watch ang Pinak.
Please watch ang pinaka
Sabay
today actually, Sundays.
Sunday, 6:30 to 7:15. GMA News TV 11.
Okay, I've already seen Miss Granny. I'm trying to watch all of the remakes that I can watch. Tapos magsusulat ako. Instead na mag-review ako, tapos kuyugin ako ng mga Sarah G fans. Charot. I'm gonna watch, parang gagawa ako ng parang comparative analysis of all of the remakes. I've already watched the Korean original, Miss Granny. There's also a Japanese remake. There's a Thai remake. And there's also a Chinese remake. Parang at least yun, I'll try to find a copy of the Vietnamese or the Indonesian remakes. Pero parang mahirap kumuha ng subtitles. Ganun.
Mas marami pang version to kaysa sa
Actually,
F4.
it's a fascinating film na it's one of the it's a film that's been remade so many times in so many countries. Parang the only thing I can compare it to is parang mga films ng India. Kasi India has their own regional industries. Kasi different region, different language. Yeah. So may Bollywood, may Tollywood, may Collywood, may Mollywood. Ganun. Maraming woods. And while some films they dub in a different language, some make remakes. Lalo na yung
from the same country.
Yeah, from the same country. So like there's a Tamil film that came out a few years ago. It's called Singham, and then it was remade into Hindi as Singham, starring Ajay Devgan, and then it was remade into two more. There was a Bengali remake and a Kannada remake. So ang dami, nagre-remake sila talaga. Parang ito yung first non-Indian film ko na nakita ko na remade in that way. Yun. And apart from Miss Granny, I've also seen The Lease. So that's a film. The Lease is a film. That's all I can say about it. Just wait for my review. It will come out soon. And I'll be looking out for, of course, Goyo, like Paul said, and also
Me too, Goyo.
Yes, Goyo. Let's all meet for that. And also the newest Kathniel vehicle, The House of Us, which is coming out next week. And that's it. Read my blog, devasishant@blogspot.com. And DJ, anything you want to say?
Share ko lang na I recently saw finally yung Seven Samurai ni Akira Kurosawa. In 35mm. Sobrang special experience.
That was amazing.
It's always a privilege na malapit lang ako sa Cine Adarna ng UP. Promotor naman.
Kay Kurosawa's Rashomon
Seeing Kurosawa in the flesh. So, I guess that's it. Thank you guys for taking our time. We would like to acknowledge Tristan and Elora. They're not here right now. They're going to some place, party. They're going to some party. And our founder, Michael Edilior, who's not here with us. So, hey man, come with us, man. What the hell, man? Come on.
Phone patch next time.
Yeah. And if you'd like to, guest with us, wink, wink, contact us. Contact either one of us, probably me or Tristan, if you want to share your thoughts. And kukulitin ka namin for like 2 hours. So, thank you, everyone. And see you at the movies. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.